10 Forward, where our goal is to bring fun back to Star Trek. Please have a seat. The show will begin in a moment. We hope you enjoy. Peace and long life.
Everybody's muted but me.
Okay, good. How's that?
I'm great. Yeah.
Awesome.
Did we lose Jesse?
Well, yeah, I think he
I think he froze.
I believe he went too far.
Did he pass 10 forward and go straight to sickbay? What happened?
I think he hit ludicrous speed, actually.
Shit. Ambassador's muted too.
He's
well, in
going
that
to
case,
Oh, he's there. Okay.
There you go, Ambassador.
Sorry, I had myself muted while I was eating. Yep, he's froze.
Oh, crap.
All right. Well, I guess I can start the show. Good evening, folks, and welcome to 10 Forward. We are your wonderful panelists of guests. At the moment, our host is somewhat frozen and everything because of my Q powers, and I froze him in place so he'll never move for the rest of the stream. So
that's strangely apt for this this show.
he is in the penalty box, to quote the wonderful and marvelous Q. So again,
this is what was it? Technobabble. He is stuck in a temporal anomaly.
Where the laws of quantum physics no longer apply.
Sure. Yeah, I'm down.
Yes. So we will soldier on until our magnanimous host and everything is able to unfreeze himself and remove himself from the penalty box. I'm sure he will give me all sorts of crap and everything once he gets out. But tonight on 10 Forward, a Star Trek panel, we're going to be talking about the singularity, the myth, the legend, Q.
Q.
And with us tonight, of course, myself, the ambassador, we have Madam Geek, Samantha Joe, Mir, and Stone Loki. And we will have one more.
You forgot somebody.
I'm about to mention him if you'll give me a second, Loki.
Damn, impatient motherfuckers up in here.
That's the way it always works.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
And Mir, language.
Absolutely loving it.
Oh, shit.
Ambassador.
Yes.
Okay. You good?
Yes, speechless.
Well, I mean,
we will have.
enough,
we will more than likely have one more joining us. The wonderful and the awesome Captain Trek will be joining us at some point this evening. So,
indeed.
So, but for now, folks, how are we all doing tonight?
Awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm fantastic.
It's June, people.
So.
Year's almost half over.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Is it though?
Well,
I've been working all day on.
We lost Mir. What the heck? And there's Geek. Hopefully.
Hopefully,
lose
the
Mir?
second half of the year will be better than the first
We
half.
lost Mir.
I think we lost Jesse again too. He's freezing.
He's spinning.
He's freezing rather badly. There we go.
Oh man.
You're muted, Jesse. You're muted, brother. There you go.
There you go.
There it goes.
Okay. All right. It is official. I am no longer using that. It is twice now that has happened to us on this live stream. That's embarrassing as hell. So we are done doing that. So with that being said,
yeah, Mir is out in the penalty box.
I'm gonna pull Mir up now.
It's because I said fuck.
All right.
Yes,
I apologize. No. Hey, you know what? That's on me. I'm the guy who made the damn thing, so I'll take full ownership of that. So, with that being said, welcome everyone in my panel. Welcome everyone who's watching live. Welcome anyone who comes here later on to see what we're doing. I am Nobody Geek. This is our Let's Talk Star Trek 10 Forward Roundtable. We'll re-talk all things Star Trek 1966 to 2005. This is all about having fun. This is all about getting to have an enjoyable conversation without fear of reprisal, damn it. So, with that being said, we are tonight going to do something we have not done yet. We are going to talk about one thing. We are not going to go around. We are actually going to talk about one particular thing. We're going to talk about one character, one of the best characters, in my opinion, in all of Star Trek. And he only showed up in 16 episodes. We are going to talk about Q, played by John DeLance. I would like to introduce my panel tonight.
Stop.
Yep, we already did that.
Yeah, Jess, I kind of already did all the introductions and stuff. So we can.
Yeah, so we can just start talking.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, this is what you get for missing staff meetings.
Staff
That's
meeting.
right.
Yeah.
Staff meetings.
You holler that in Valhalla and like
Okay.
8 people show up. What?
And this is why I said this is the last time. Hey, this is why I said that's the last time I'm using that damn intro again. I worked hard on it and it screwed me twice, and not in a good way.
Oh, honey, I'm
You
sorry.
got trapped in the temporal anomaly.
Yep.
That's it.
Where the laws of quantum physics no longer apply.
That's it.
Oh my god, it was worse than watching Star Trek Discovery.
Oh, hey, this is
Okay.
a happy channel.
Here, yes, we are
Yes,
happy.
it is a happy.
We are all happy
All right.
little Trekkies here. Well, I'm not really a Trekkie.
So
I'm
let's
a
think about this. So let's think about this. We have this character, and remember, he does resemble a certain character from TOS. Anybody remember him?
Trelane.
Trelane, yeah.
Tremaine. You know, so as I was going through my research today to look this up, and Madam Geek was sitting next to me, she's like, well, that's interesting. I didn't know that stuff. I said, neither did I. We went through some stuff, and it was like, literally, the writing staff hated the idea of bringing a character similar to Tremaine to it, and the way the guy said he quoted was, Gene Roddenberry said, "Trust me, the way I'll do it, they'll love it." And what the hell do you know? He was right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do this. I normally let my guests go first. Unfortunately, I also have two ladies, one being my wife, one being Samantha Joe. So I will let the ladies decide which to talk first. But just FYI, it will be the first two ladies, and then Stone Loki, and then the rest of us.
Are you gonna like throw them in a pit and make them fight to the death for it? I want to see that.
Please make them use sporks. I don't know
Why
it is.
am I
I had
hearing
this
the
weird
music from a mock
fascination with
time right
hybrid
now?
utensils.
Why don't you go
I
first,
just snapped
Samantha?
Loki out of existence.
No, Madam Geek, go ahead. Go ahead. It's fine.
Oh, no.
I'm cool.
You know what? This is something very anticlimactic. Go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
Well, first off, thanks to my husband for having me on the show. I'm not as into Star Trek as he is, but we do discuss the episodes periodically. I like Q. I think because he likes to shake things up whenever he makes an appearance in whatever episode or whatever drama is going on in Picard's life and on the ship. So I think he does it for his own kicks and giggles personally. I think he gets bored since he's lived forever, so he needs to shake things up. It's like, what can I do today to make life interesting? So
Eris is laughing. Yep, pretty much. Is it my turn? Are you done, sweetie?
I'm done. It's all you.
Okay, I didn't want to step on your moment.
Oh, that's all right. Go for it.
The first time I saw Q, okay, the first thing that went through my mind is I've been following John Delancey's career since he was on my soap. He used to be on Days of Our Lives.
Days of Our Lives.
He played
Loved it.
Eugene, and he and Calliope, they were amazing. I love them very,
Yes.
very much. So when I saw him show up as this omnipotent being, I thought, okay, John's not going to play crazy like he did on Days, but he's not quite evil either. It's like Madam Geek said, he's just like, well, let's see how we can screw with these people today. Let's question their morals. Okay, ta-da! Let's put humanity on trial. For what? What is it this week? It's like, crap. But every time he showed up, every time that character showed up, I would just grin because I thought, oh my God, this is going to be an incredible episode. No matter what, every time Q was on, at least TNG, he was hilarious. Of course, he liked to screw with Captain Janeway as well. And I think didn't he have a thing for Loxana Troy when he was on DS9?
No. He was only on. Yeah, he was only on one episode of DS9, and that was when Bosch was there. And actually, I was going to go into that later. Why I don't see why I can see why he wouldn't have shown back up, and why he showed up more on Voyager versus DS9.
Right. Because I only saw, what was it? The Q and the Gray, I think. And there was another episode of Voyager Q2.
Which is just 3 episodes, I believe.
3 episodes? Okay.
Yeah, no.
It's been about a minute since I've seen Voyager, so hold on.
Actually, ironically, I just finished it not too long ago. I actually finished it a couple hours ago with Endgame.
Oh.
Which wasn't the worst, which wasn't bad as I remembered. I actually had a much bigger disdain for it than. Yeah, he appeared in 8 episodes of TNG, 1 episode of DS9, 3 of Voyager.
And 3 episodes, I just looked it up.
Total 4 episosts. But still.
I only saw the Q and the Gray and Q2.
Well, I can't look up too much. That's what gets me like. Yeah, well, Q and the Bray, I think, was when the whole Civil War was going on.
Yes. And I think Susie Plaxton was also on as a Q as well.
She was Mrs. Q.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, and I have to take a second and go back to her character on TNG as Kalar. Yeah. And I'm like, why did they kill her? What an amazing character. Okay, I'm done.
No, I totally agree with you. I was actually watching all the episodes that she was in on TNG yesterday. Yeah. And I mean, a Klingon that wasn't necessarily a Klingon, they were half human, half Klingon, and didn't give a shit about honor or whatever the Klingons hold dear. Then you have a Klingon that's, that was raised on Earth, has never been around other Klingons, and took the whole thing way too seriously. I'm like, my God, are they just retarded for each other or what? They were just perfect.
Yeah. They were perfect for each other.
They had a whole storyline set up when she was playing a Vulcan before we ever got Kalar. Yeah, it was going to be her as a Vulcan, the calm, cool Vulcan, and then him as this, brash warrior with all these emotions. And then they just cut it. And when they brought up the Kalar thing, they were like, let's bring her back. She was supposed to be his love interest at first. Let's bring the actress back and have her do it as Kalar, which was perfect.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, if you really think about it, Worf has had terrible luck with women. The closest he ever got to a Klingon was a fucking half-breed, all right? Let's just not be around.
All right, guys, we can talk about Worf.
I know. Let's go past Kalar.
Back to Q. All right, Samantha, what else do you want to talk about? What else do you want to say about Q?
I just enjoyed the character. I really, really did. I don't know what else to say about him. There were moments when I was like, oh, that's not going to work out. Oh, that's funny as hell. Like when he, tossed those women and cigars at Riker, I was like, okay, he knows who he's screwing
before the beard.
That was epic. Pops in a mariachi band.
You're so stubborn.
Yeah, just the way he would work every last nerve of Captain Picard. It was incredible.
Yeah, and the funny thing is when he had to a few times, Picard had enough common sense to say, when it came to it, he goes, "Are you asking me I need you?" Yes, I need you.
Yeah.
Picard had enough. And that was I'll get to that later. I'm gonna before I get into my little thing about it. But Samantha Joe, if you don't have any more, I'll turn it over to Stone Loki. If that's
you can move on to the boss man over there.
All right, boss man.
It's me. I'm immortal again. Omnipotent again. Yes. Oh,
You've been saving that all day.
I swear to God, whoever directed that, we're still like, what would you least expect to see on the bridge of the Enterprise? How about a mariachi band?
And Loki.
He's got Picard up there, and I've got my Loki Q down there. How do you like them apples? Oh, wow. Dude, no one brought it to TNG like John Delancey playing Q. Nobody. He had all the energy. I loved it. Even the first episode where he's kind of calmed down. He's like, back when humans used to control their soldiers with drugs. Man, he had the screen presence to light that whole show on fire. And they use it. They let him go and said, man, you do it the way you want to do it and just be you. And that's all John Delancey.
Yeah.
Any other Q you ever saw? No, that's not Q. That's some other wannabe Q. You've got the real Q waiting in the wings, I'm back. So I absolutely love the character. Every episode with him was a laugh fest, whether he was torturing the crew, throwing them into the penalty box, getting into trouble, becoming human and learning what it means to be human. From, of all people, Data. He learned about humanity from an android that had absolutely no emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And he came back and was like, I'm going to give you a gift, my little friend. And he's like, if your intention is to make me human, he's like, oh, no, I would never do that to you. No, that's horrible.
Is our son say hi to us?
Oh, and he just made him
I think my son just said hi to me.
Was AJ lurking back there?
Hey, AJ.
That's so sweet.
Hi, AJ. We love you, buddy. We're glad you're listening. I hope you enjoy, buddy.
Is your kid lurking you? What the
fuck? His kid's lurking.
No, our kid is learning. We are my wife and I are homeschoolers. No. It's learning. We homeschool our kids, so we set them up and we teach them how to learn.
Nice.
Excellent.
And that's awesome. He wants to be here. Great. Maybe he'll finally like Star Trek like I do.
He's really the one that introduced
All right,
us
so
get on the parental tangent here for a minute, was that my husband thought YouTube was just a bunch of stupid videos, and he was watching Dan TDM that does Minecraft videos and things like that. I'm like, who are these people? And then the more we got into YouTube and seeing these people, like, oh, there's a lot more here than just stupid people doing stupid things. So anyway, my parental tangent there for a minute.
It's all right.
No, it's not really it's really not a tangent. We he actually taught us how to use, or he actually taught me how to use stuff to beat video games using YouTube. And me being an IT guy, once I learned how to navigate YouTube, I was like, oh, okay, there's more crap on here than I realized. So yeah, our God, what was he, honey? 6 back then?
That was when he found Minecraft. So
yeah,
3 or 4 years ago. Anyway, back to Q.
Oh,
back on track.
Yeah, back to Q. All right, Stone Looky, you got any more?
Oh,
come on, man! You got any more?
Great. He's great, and yeah, Picard never hit him. Of course he didn't. Cisco did.
That's right.
So yeah, I'll pass on the baton. I will pass the baton. Cisco's my favorite captain. So if anybody's going to stand up to Q and be like, put him on his ass, it's going to be Cisco. And I will pass the baton, sir.
The baton goes to Mr. Mir.
Right when I go take a drink. Yeah, like killer me.
Yep.
All right.
Cheers.
So
get up.
I'm going to go off on the TNG tangent here. Just that one in particular. I mean, aside from the fact that that John Delancey, this is the character that had the most fun of anybody on that entire show.
Yes.
I mean,
for sure.
on one hand, he was screwing with, I mean, especially Worf. Like, are you kidding me? You know,
Growl,
like,
Michael Brain,
what's up,
so that I
Worf?
know that
Eat
you
any good
care.
books lately? You know, I mean, he messed with that guy relentlessly.
Oh,
And of
yeah.
course, it was fun. He had a great time doing it. But then you're talking about the whole arc. He was preparing humanity for what was coming, and also, like, I mean, just to be prepared. You know,
Yeah.
I know in past discussions we have talked about
If you can't take a bloody nose.
Huh?
If you can't take a bloody nose,
Oh,
you
yeah.
have no business being out here.
We have talked about the United Federation Carnival Cruise Line Enterprise, and and how you're sitting there with families and children and a zoo, and
that was always kind of weird to me.
yeah, and that's the thing. Like, this is supposed to be, for all intents and purposes, the Space Navy. Why are you bringing along little Timmy and all of his friends?
Yeah, that always bothered me.
And so, but as time has gone on, you've seen that you've seen the Federation shift from the Carnival Cruise Line of the galaxy to to actually a more proper naval vessel with defenses, and taking the most precious people, like the parents and the children, and putting them back behind the lines. Which, I hate to say it, it's kind of that way how it should be. I mean, all of this happened because of Q. It was Q that introduced us to the Borg. It was Q that was, that helped bring Vosh back from the Gamma Quadrant and introduce us to whatever that thing was, that egg.
Don't piss off.
Okay, yeah.
And then there was the Janeway Chronicles, where he was just going to have fun.
Yeah. He just totally.
Well, no. I'll disagree with that, but I'll talk about that later.
He helped to an extent, but then, helped get him back a couple of years, and he said, you could bring us all the way back in one hit. Why not? It's like, because then you wouldn't learn anything. You're going to miss out on all the fun.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, there were things that, and as much as there were stuff that, he was teaching humanity and Picard in particular, and also humanity, but there was stuff that we were teaching him as well. And so it was a back and forth. There was growth in the continuum, aside from the same old monotony that you would have gotten, that it would have been had he not started messing around with humanity. Okay, and that's all I have for now. And now, look, there he is. Here, I'm going to touch your beard. Touch your beard.
No, not the beard. You got to go with the other guy. You got to go with this guy. Oh, over here. Ambassador, you go next. You're my next co-host, buddy.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Well, he doesn't have a beard.
No, I am beardless, and I am happy. I don't have to worry about cleaning a beard every single day of my life. What we have with Q is a truly singular character. This was honestly our first introduction to a truly omnipotent, omniscient, all-powerful being in the Star Trek universe, save for maybe the big floating head in Star Trek V, but we don't talk about that here. Q is very difficult to categorize him in terms of a trope or an archetype. But I think the best two would be one as a mentor and two as a trickster. In a lot of ways, much like the Norse god.
Lucky.
But here is the interesting thing about
hashtag blame Loki. Hashtag blame.
Here's the thing.
Viva Mexico, man.
Okay, can I get a word in edgewise, please? Thank you. The thing about Q is this: he does evolve, even though he is omniscient and all powerful. He does grow and change, even though he knows all things in the universe, because he lacks one important element: humanity. Even with all of his godlike power, he lacks humanity. And throughout the course of Next Generation and Deep Space Nine and Voyager, he gains that. The other interesting thing about Q, and some of you have already mentioned this, he is always pushing humanity to be better. He is like that very hard-nosed and hard-edged uncle who always pushes you to be better. He may watch you fall on your ass, but he'll be there to pick you up and say, okay, what did you learn? And that is one of the truly intriguing things about Q. Even though he has access to all of this, for lack of a better term, godlike power, he actually cares. I would put him in I would put him right alongside, and some people may call me a blasphemer for saying this, or a heretic, but I would put him right alongside another great sci-fi character, and that is Ambassador Kosh from Babylon 5. Because Kosh and Q share something in common. They both are long-lived, but they both are fallible. And that's why we relate to them so well. That's why we resonate with them so much. Because even though they have all this power at their very fingertips, they're still fallible. They still make mistakes, even though they've lived for seemingly eons of history. They were there probably very possibly when right after the Big Bang occurred. They were there when planets and solar systems were forming.
I'm pretty sure they took Voyager there.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that was
Picard there.
that was
thing.
Yeah, and all good things and everything. Q took Picard back to primordial Earth.
Well, no, I think, what was it, the other Q that was looking for the right
Quinn.
to die?
Yeah, Quinn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in Voyager.
So
That
they
was
actually took him
Voyager.
for a couple of moments after the Big Bang to hide from the other from John Delancey.
Exactly. But Q is a mirror for us because we may, as a species, someday in our distant future, evolve to a level like his. He is a mirror. He is something to aspire to because he is always wanting not only to push humanity, but also push his own people and push himself because he realizes the potential that humanity has. He says as much to Riker when he gives Riker the power of the Q. Riker says, there's something about us that is always learning and growing. We have this thirst, this undeniable drive to grow and evolve and change. And Q is like, in a future you may not even realize, you will eventually surpass us. And Q's probably right. Humanity in a distant future in the Star Trek universe probably will surpass his own people. But you know what? That doesn't threaten Q. And most likely it doesn't threaten the rest of the Q continuum. They want to see something different. As I forget what episode it is, but Q takes takes Picard and a few others from the command staff to the continuum, and it's all stagnant. It's like an old dusty highway, and there's a little general store or whatever, and you see people sitting around in rocking chairs and whatever. And he's like, yeah, they're just sitting around doing absolutely nothing, but this is the only way I can help you understand, or I can put the continuum into a context that you would understand. Because if you were to see the continuum in its true nature, you wouldn't get it. And
yeah, that episode you're talking about is Death Wish.
Is it?
That's the one that deals with the character, the other Q.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one that deals with the other Q. But I mean, that obviously attributes to a great evolution in his character, and I'll get into that in a minute.
Well, I'll make one other comment. In all of the different books and audiobooks and so on that John Delancey has performed as Q, he has always been entertaining. He has always been sorry, that's my phone. If you're hearing a chiming go off, my apologies. But he is, as I said, he is a singular. He is singular unto himself. And with that, I yield the floor.
Hey, can I say something real quick, Jesse, before you guys go on? For anybody out there wondering, I just heard from Chris Persia. Our brother is alive and well and at home. And
excellent.
Oh, dude.
God.
Months. Months. Chris Persia is alive and well and at home and trying to catch up with everything.
Oh my God. Where has he
been?
I haven't been so worried.
I haven't heard that name in a while.
Oh my God.
I haven't heard that name in a while either. But yeah, I think some of us were a little out of the loop on what went on.
Oh my gosh.
But that's good.
He had the beer bug, and I haven't heard from him in over 2 months. I've been messaging him every couple of weeks, hoping he's okay.
Oh
so
my God.
I never stopped messaging him, and he said, "Dude, you're the first person I messaged." So thank God.
Well, that's awesome. Hey, tell him we all wish him the best.
Oh, that's wonderful news. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that is.
He's been on my mind all day today.
And you're the second guy that's made Samantha cry in like the last 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Y'all are killing me here.
I'm sorry.
I was
doing blame Loki.
The struggle is real.
Oh,
yeah.
Number one.
Keep my eyeliner on. It's like,
not today.
The wrench of wrenches.
When I was.
Sorry.
Nah, you're okay, Stone Loki. You're good, buddy. When Mr. Meir actually suggested the idea of the Q character, I was like, this is awesome. And then I did, I did some research, and there was a time when I was binging. It was recently because I'm still going through Star Trek, and I just finished Voyager. So I'm very up to date on and I was saying to my wife, I was like, why do his eyes look a little dark? Why do his lips look a little purpler? And I actually was reading up, and they actually did makeup intently to actually make him look like that. And I was like, whoa, now that explains a few things. And when you get to the character of Trelane, yes, of course, this seems like the same character. And when I said the whole thing that not George Lucas, shit. I'm gonna
shame.
No, not
Great
George
Bird of the Galaxy. Great Bird of the Galaxy.
Gene Roddenberry. Okay, I'm gonna. Oh,
somebody's up for a crucifixion.
Okay, well, Gene Roddenberry did that, and the whole thing the writers were saying was, no, we don't like this, and he was like, no, trust me, the way I'm going to do it, they're going to love it. And, ultimately, we did, and ultimately, the directors and producers said, okay, this is a great character, but we need to use it sparingly, otherwise, we're going to maybe bore the audience. So 16 episodes, and you never knew what you were going to get. The first episode is a trial. The last episode in TNG is a trial. Everything after that, you got the Robin Hood episode. You got the, go to DS9. Here's why I actually said that, Sid. Everybody knows. If you don't know, you will know. DS9 is my favorite Star Trek series. I think there's a reason why I know why Q never came back to DS9. He knew he could provoke Cisco like he could never provoke Picard or Janeway. And I think that's why he came back to those characters periodically versus Cisco, where Cisco punched him and he goes, you hit me, Picard. And he goes, I'm not Picard. And he makes that comment, goes, how good for me. But, when I really sat back and thought about it, especially after watching the last watching Q2 and stuff, I was like, yes, this may have been beneficial because Cisco would have been easier for Q to manipulate versus Picard and Janeway. And like I said, Cisco's my favorite captain, but I think that I think that by Q standards, he would have found Picard, not Picard, sorry, Cisco boring as fuck.
Yeah, he was too
because
easily.
I would agree with that.
Yeah,
he was too quick to anger.
He was too easy
He was too intense.
And he won. And I think Samantha Joe said it, or somebody said it here, where it was like, they're immortal, they're omnipotent, they've been around forever. When you're at that point in your life, it's nature to want it's nature natural to want a challenge. You want something that's going to challenge you. You're an omnipotent being, and you've been able to make Picard say, "Get the fuck off my ship," and also at the same time, I need you. And even in some way, shape, or form, when he made him have to relive events in his life, he's like, he would thank Q for that. Because that was a point where Q kind of showed him, it's like, if you had done what you were now, if you had been who you are now back then, you wouldn't be who you are now. That was another time paradox. Because he told him, he's like, you didn't have a brush with death. You didn't want to take charge. You just wanted to play it safe.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then when Picard tells him, I mean, this was and I think it's only the second time where he actually asked Q for help. Where it was like when, the first thing is like, getting away from the Borg. And he's like, are you asking me if I need you? Yes, Q, I need you. So he was not afraid to say, yes, I need help. But at this point, when he was like, you get to this end of the spectrum where Q's trying to teach him, if you change the fabric of your past, you change who you are now. And when he said, there's a part of me that wants to thank him, and Will's like, it sounds like it put you hell. He goes, well, there are many things I regretted about my life, but when I pulled the fabric away from that, it changed I don't remember the words exactly, but it's like when you pull just a little bit of fabric away from who you are, it potentially could change everything you could be or everything you ever was. Mm-hmm. And it was and it all comes down to, and I'll be the first one to tell you, I've got more than my fair share of tragedies. You'd be amazed how many successes and fails come down to one choice you make that determine the outcome of your life. And I mean, that episode, I wasn't trying to go into an episode specific, but when I look at it, he kind of went up and told him, he's like, hey, I wouldn't even have been interested in you, and I wouldn't have done anything in your life had you been this guy. I mean, in a snarky way, that's how Q was. He was like telling you, oh, you think I'm a problem? Look at what you would have became if you had just made this decision different. You'd have been a pathetic excuse for a human being. You'd have hated what you would have became. And then he was like, are you asking me for help? And Picard goes, I'd rather die as the man I was than live the life I just saw. Yep. And that's when and that's when Q's like, snaps his fingers, and he's like, I've made my point.
Here you go. Take a knife to the heart.
I think that
right?
Yeah. Oh my God. I think at the end of the day, Q was always, for all his shit he did and all his Malkavian kind of thoughts, he was trying to make a point to humanity. It just happened to have a side effect he didn't think about. Humanity had an effect on him.
Well, yeah, of course, because here's the thing about Q. As we've pointed out before, he's been around seemingly eons of history. He's seen practically everything. He's done practically everything. He can do just about anything that he puts his mind to. He can change the gravitational constant of the universe. So for Q to come across someone that interests him, challenges him, makes him think, makes him grow as a person, of course he's going to want to interact with Picard and the crew of the Enterprise and interact with Janeway and the people on Voyager, and to an extent Cisco on DS9. Although, as we pointed out, he realizes that dealing with Cisco is just going to be too darn boring, because all Cisco's probably going to do is haul off and punch him. There's going to be no great philosophical debate with Cisco. And that's not to say that Cisco is by any means dumb or simple. Far from it. But that's not who Cisco is. Yes, he is to a point a thinker, but he's more so a commander and a soldier.
I will point out, though, that there was someone on the Enterprise that Q was afraid of, and that's Guinan.
Guinan.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Hey, you know what? Hey, you know what? You know what? I'm going to say this right now. So, you know what? I'm going to make a segue now. So, Loki, talk about that.
Guinan?
He was completely afraid of her. She's an
imp.
She's an imp, and where she goes, trouble follows.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't necessarily say he's afraid of her. I would say that he's more so cautious.
He's apprehensive. Yeah.
I would say he's a little more apprehensive. He knows of what she's capable of and what have you. But I must say it that I don't think she would pose any real danger to.
I don't know.
I don't.
The look on his face.
No, wait.
The look on his face.
Hold on a second. Hear me out here. Hear me out here.
There's a dog.
Hear me out here. Well, I got plenty of dogs. I think
that's you. Yeah, Jesse, I think it's you.
No, it's not my dog. My dog's licking her areas right now. My male dog is not in the room. So
you're saying your dog's on vacation?
Yeah, basically. No, what I was going to go with was, I do agree with the fact that Guinan made Q afraid, because here's something nobody thinks about. Why did Guinan recognize him?
Well, because she said they'd had some dealings in the past. Apparently, he's interacted with her race before.
Why? But that presence, that appearance, did she recognize that appearance, or did she recognize that he was Q, period? I think if she recognized
Guinan was, if they had a past and she knew that they had a war with her species, makes you wonder how old she is, because Q is already old. So
she said she's thousands of years old.
Right.
Look at the way she threw up her hands. Look at the way she threw up her hands. The way she was like in attack mode, and he was like, "Yoink behind Picard, get rid of her, Captain." Whatever she was doing when she threw up those hands, whether she was gonna backlash whatever he tried to do to her, or whatever, we'll never know, because they never explain it. They never
explained it.
No, but they do give you hints.
I think they're. There was something. That's why I said when I watched the episode, I said, why does Guinan recognize him? Because why would Guinan show up in that current manifestation of Q on her planet? Yeah, you could say, well, they look. You could say, well, they look human. Okay, great, but they're not. So why would he use the same image twice? He only used those images with humans. Guinan was not human. Yes, he used it on certain places, but when he used that image, that was to interact with humans, other than certain exceptions. So,
but
if
she
that was his
presence.
Yeah, and that's what. Yeah, that's where I was going with it. Was like she could sense something.
Yes.
She could sense his power. I mean,
Yeah.
she's the one who could sense that the Enterprise C was needed to go. Oh,
Yeah.
I love I really had to put Q in a Marine uniform. Thanks, Loki.
Yeah.
Technically, that's a Marine
Good, that was
Army.
the counter far point.
Bye.
Since we're on a tangent at the moment, thanks guys for having me. I'm
Actually-
gonna go ahead and sign off here. Okay, so it's real
Okay,
nice
Madam
talking to you
Geek.
All right,
guys.
sweetheart.
It was very nice meeting you. It was very
Yes.
nice meeting you,
Good to
Madam
see
Geek.
you.
Thank you for being on.
Madam
Yeah.
Geek. Always a
Thanks
pleasure.
for coming, man. Bye.
Jesse, I have no idea how she puts up with you.
Right?
I'm just saying it now. I'm throwing it out there, man.
What an
It's
awesome
called
gal.
military. It's called military training. Yeah, and-
Wow. Okay. Hot damn,
Put up with
Ambassador.
13 years. To put up with 13 years of me, I still don't know how she does it.
Yeah.
Actually, I do know how she. Actually, I know exactly how she does it. All joking aside, we know how we do it. We're straight up honest. We tell each other straight up. I mean, we're truthful with each other. We're honest, and that's a bit of a story, but that's a private story. If anybody wants to hear it, I'm happy to tell, but I'm not going to tell it on here.
About to say, I have no idea
Let's
how
do-
I got molested
I
on the
will.
paperwork.
I will pique your curiosity just a little bit and say that we had only one date.
Wow.
Cool.
Bravo.
And y'all can ask me the details later. I'll be happy to tell you with
That's cool.
certain omissions, obviously. But no, we've had an amazing relationship, and I'm happy for it. And but yeah, the character of Q. I mean, going back to subject, the character of Q. He evolved. It's like I said, I understood why he wasn't on DS9 anymore. Cisco, for as much as I love him, is too easy for Q to deal with. And remember, Janeway is only reason why she had her connection with Q was when they found the other Q, the one in the asteroid. Otherwise, he wouldn't have had anything to do with them. And quite frankly, he didn't care. I mean, just because they were human, he didn't care. He was going to be just manipulative. And then Janeway kind of, I guess, maybe sparked a little bit of intrigue in him in a different way, like kind of a female Picard, where it's like, I've got someone who can challenge me. And of course, when it comes to Q or Q's period, what is an omnipotent, immortal, totally powerful species going to do but accept a challenge?
Yeah, of course.
It was Voyager being stuck that intrigued him at first. Eventually, once he got to know Kathy, as he called her, Catherine.
Oh my god, I wanted to smack him.
Eventually, he enjoyed toying, but originally it was you humans out here all by yourselves, and you're having birthday parties and you're trying to carry on like you're in the Alpha Quadrant, and what the hell is wrong with you people?
I think that Q had two very different arcs. As far as like who Q was basically a foil. When when he showed up in TNG, you knew that something interesting was going to happen here. But more importantly, is that the people were going to get pushed outside of their comfort zone, and that happens in every single episode. And if there's one thing that I have learned being married to my wife for so long, is that when you get pushed outside of your comfort zone, that's when you learn. Yeah. And there is a moral to every single episode that Q is in the TNG side. He starts off from judging humanity. He ends up judging humanity, but also saving humanity by helping Picard travel through time, and to notice all these different points where the singularity is going on.
Paradox.
Yeah. So the
paradox.
Yeah, that area of TNG kind of ended the Q arc as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. Then you have 4 episodes, sorry, one on DS9. That was kind of like the carryover, and then you had 3 more episodes in Voyager, and those were fun.
Yeah,
those are pure fun.
Mm-hmm.
And
but I disagree with Yeah, Mir, but I got to disagree with you on the completion of a story arc. I mean, when he got to TNG, or when he was in TNG, yes, that was a good thing. But when he got to Voyager, those 3 episodes where they did the things they did, he got intrigued the first episode, but then those second 2 episodes, he saw something a little different and really evolved. And, I mean, he even accepted the fact that he's got to spend eternity with his kid and go everywhere his kid goes.
And that's kind of my point, though, is that in those 3 episodes in Voyager, you're learning more about the continuum than you ever did over in TNG.
Yeah.
In TNG, you got 1 episode where, oh my God, he pissed off the continuum and he kicked him out.
Yeah. Then we get Corbin Burnson.
Yeah, that's essentially it.
Yeah,
once you go
Corbin Burnson as a Q.
Exactly. And then you go over to the Voyager side, you see what the life is like in the continuum. You see the continuum under Civil War. You see you see Q's having sex. You see, it's like all these things that you never would even think about over in, over on the TNG side. Now you get that lore over in Voyager.
Yeah.
Let's not forget when it was happening remember, Q had been causing problems long before he showed up on TNG. And, because the character, I'll call him Quinn because that's what he was called at the end before he committed suicide. He told him, he's like, oh, you used to be disruptive, unpredictable, but then, you towed the line and we're good little Q. And he's like, told him, I was like, I was actually proud of you because you were unpredictable, because you were doing things. And he's like, he was like, I was proud of you. Now I'm disappointed in you because now you're just doing what every other Q does. And it was a wake up call for Q. Yeah.
Corbin, when he had hair.
Oh, yeah. I love.
You got your powers back.
That part there.
Fresh out of LA.
No, I love the part where he's like, Q, sacrificing show. Oh, these dreadful colors. Do I detect a teensy bit of selfless act? Oh, no, I'm just depriving myself of this misery. He goes, okay, look, no. If I have to go back to the continuum, I'm the guy who got you kicked out. You're a menace. I can't go to a single galaxy without having to apologize. And he's like, I've learned, hey, all knowing, all seeing. Yeah. And then, but then before that, he was like, I can't go back to the continuum and tell him you sacrifice yourself. There's going to be questions and explanations for centuries. Centuries. And he's like, I've learned. He goes, hey, all knowing, all seeing. Okay, you got your powers back. And then he says, try to stay out of trouble.
Try not to cause any trouble.
Apparently Q did not learn very well because he never stayed out of trouble.
No, that's
he wasn't in trouble.
He did.
But remember, 30 seconds after that, he brought out the mariachi band, and that makes up for everything.
Yep.
I'm immortal again. Omnipotent again.
I will have to say my favorite episode of Q, and it is from TNG, is the episode where he discovers the young girl who was born to parents who were Q.
Yes.
I love that episode because here's the thing. You get both the mischievous Q, but you also get the heavy. You get the heavy Q. Mm-hmm. And you've got the other Q that are appearing as shadows and voices and saying, has she decided yet? And he's like, I'm working on it. Back off.
Yeah.
And they're like, you're under a time.
If I'm not mistaken, Ambassador, wasn't this the first time we ever actually saw another Q in Z?
Besides another
Corbin,
Q.
Yes.
And,
besides Corbin.
Yeah. But I mean, this is when you started to notice.
Correctly, the actress who played the other Q, the young woman and everything, was actually the big sister on Wonder Years. Yep. Olivia D'Oba, I think was her name. And, and here's the thing. Up until this point, we didn't know that Q could procreate the normal way. We didn't know that they could renounce. we knew that they could have their power stripped away because we had that precedent with Q having his power stripped away, but we didn't know that Q could renounce their powers, which gives us just a little bit of world building.
Exactly.
Well, no, actually, the world building was, why did they allow those two Q to procreate and still use their powers? And, when it was like, their abuse of power, it's like they couldn't resist. It's like, what were they doing with their powers that caused the Q continuum to kill them? I mean, we never get into that, but we were told to assume their parents were good, decent people, but what were they doing with their powers that made the Q decide, okay, we are not stripping their powers, we are killing them? I mean, it wasn't until I think even Samantha Joe mentioned a Q in the Gray where there was actually a civil war where they were making weapons to kill. So this was one of the most rarest occasions we've ever heard of murder of your own species. So it kind of always made me wonder. It's like, what did they do?
You're assuming,
well, we don't know.
You're assuming that they had that child naturally.
Yeah.
You're assuming that they didn't touch fingers like
human naturally.
Human naturally. You're assuming they didn't just touch fingers like Q in the Gray and make a baby.
Yeah.
Well, here's the other thing that you have to remember. There's actually a series of books or anything that Jude does deal with Picard and Q. I think it's called Q Strike, or something along the War amongst the Q or something. And it's like a three book series that's in the TNG universe and everything, or in that particular chronology. I think it came out. I think it was still when the show was still running and everything. But there was 3 different books and everything, and I remember. Yeah, if I remember correctly, it actually has to do with some sort of for heaven's sakes, what's the word I want to use? After effect of the Genesis wave, or something like that, from back in Star Trek II: Wrath of Khan, where there was some sort of Genesis wave that was going throughout the universe, and the Q were trying to prevent it from spreading and destroying everything, including themselves. I might be getting my storylines crossed up here, but I know there was a series of books that involved Picard and the Q, and I think part of the crew from TNG. So
I'm going to get myself in trouble.
Oh boy!
I just want to point out to everybody that the Q fuck how ET heals.
Yeah, pretty much.
Ouch, baby.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Now that we got that out of the way.
E.T. feel good.
Oh, thanks for that, Loki. Thank you. Bravo, boss.
Yeah,
well, I mean, all right, guys, we're coming up
hell.
on an hour now. All right, hey guys, we're coming up on an hour now. I think unless anybody else has anything extra they want to talk about the Q, I'd say let's call it a night. But before we do that, I require everybody who has a channel or something they want to do, they have to plug it. So we're gonna go. If my camera tells me right, no, yeah, that way we're gonna start with the ambassador, Samantha Joe, Mr. Mir, and then Stone Loki.
Yeah, I got nothing. So
any channel.
Skip me.
Okay, so we'll skip me here.
I will go last. I will yield to the lady.
Oh, thank you. That's
there.
You
Go.
Yep, my name is Samantha Joe. I am one half of the Valkyries. My other Valkyrie, my best friend, my girlfriend, Purple Lady, is in the chat right now. Yep. We rise with the Valkyries Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. Central. Otherwise, you can find us with Stone Loki at Loki's Mornings of Mischief. First day with my new teeth. Every morning at 8 a.m. handling the chat. So come on by and join us, y'all.
I thought you were about to pull a Way You in 5. That was not good, by the way.
No, you had to go Way You in 5. Oh, we'll get into Way You.
I'm watching someone do it. Oh, that's the last time I saw that. Okay.
Weirdo. I like
I saw it last night. Okay, it's the first thing that came to mind.
I lost my fate because of you. I almost lost my fate because of that.
Hey,
all right.
I told you I'm going to hell. I'm bringing friends, bud.
I'm there.
All right. All right. So, Mr. Mir, I know you said you don't have anything. Yeah. So, Stone Loki,
I got finals coming up.
I know you. Oh man, hey, we all wish you the best. We all want you to pass and succeed. Stone Loki, I know you've got a busy schedule, so please plug anything you want.
Guys, if you haven't subscribed to Jesse here at MB Geek, subscribe to him, hit that button, ring that bell, check him out. He's got great content, and I give the floor to the ambassador.
Loki, come on, man. Do I have to plug your own channel?
No, I'm not plugging my own channel. No, do not plug my channel. I get plenty of clicks.
Yes, I will. Yes, I will. Folks, this man down here in the right-hand, left-hand corner of the screen is Stone Loki. He does Loki's Mornings of Mischief Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. I listen to him often while I am at work. I occasionally have guested on his streams. He's also got another stream that he is doing on Tuesdays and Thursday nights, Midnights of Madness, and those are a lot of fun as well. He has been a cornerstone of my channel. He is a good friend of me, the ambassador, and he is a great guy. So if you have not subscribed to his channel, go do it. As for myself, I am the ambassador. I cover pop culture of the 80s and 90s and quite literally everything in between that pertains to that. You can find me on my channel simply called The Ambassador. I do live streams, I do videos, and I'm going to be getting back into doing some more pre-recorded stuff. It's been a while since I've done it, but be looking out for that. I'm also going to be doing some gaming streams in the very near future now that I've got a decent pair of headphones and a controller, so I can do that. This week on my channel, Wednesday afternoon, being I didn't do it this afternoon because I was running errands, we will have Afternoons with the Ambassador at 12 Central Time. We'll be resuming our review of Babylon 5 Season 1 with my two good friends, Adega Outlaw and Mountains of Elysium. And then this Friday night, I'm going to do a special. I'm going to be on another channel, Orange Hat Reviews, where we're going to be debating who would win a fight between the two daughters of the emperors from the Star Wars universe, Valen, daughter of Darth Tenebris, Darth Vitiate, and the other. I gotta go on camera for this one. The other daughter of the Emperor, Rey, not Skywalker, Rey Palpatine, and be expecting a slaughter, quite literally. And then, of course, on my channel this Saturday night, the Ambassadorial Wing, 7:30 Central Time. I'm not exactly sure what topic I'm going to be covering. It'll either be about the films of Zack Snyder, or we'll be talking about the Mummy trilogy. So be sure to tune in for that. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Discord. You can even find me on Facebook because I have started a Facebook page and a Facebook group. And I'm also on Instagram. So if you can't find me, if you can't find these wonderful people that are around me, there's something wrong. But that's it. That is all for me. And I want to thank my brother from another mother, Jesse Nobody Geek. I want to thank this wonderful panel for being here this evening. Even though this is not my channel, this is Jesse's channel. I have a small corner of it. This was a wonderful discussion, and I give all the props to Mr. Mir for suggesting the topic. So, anyhow.
All right, so I am, as you all know, I am NB Geek. I'm Nobody Geek. You can find me on Twitter if you want to deal with both geek stuff and the occasional politics. But past that, my channel here is we get together on Mondays, 6:30 Eastern Daylight Time, United States. Our goal is to have fun. We will pick a topic together as a panel. We'll post it out next few hours, maybe tomorrow. And like I said, our goal is to have fun talking about geek culture and geek Star Trek. And I want to thank the ambassador. I want to thank Samantha Joe. I want to thank Mr. Meir. I want to thank Stone Loki for being gracious enough to give it. Yes, my wife too, obviously.
That's
Damn
Madam
right,
Geek.
man.
Oh boy,
That's the
Dang.
most important part.
That's right. Don't forget that.
Oh,
Hey,
you are in so
you're-
I'm so editing this
Mrs.
video.
Geek,
and
please
deleting it
don't
or
kill
whatever. Anyway,
Jesse.
Please don't kill him. He
Please
knows
don't
not
use him
what he
like
does.
him.
God said he can't make
Oh, boy.
more.
No.
Blasphemer, I smite you or
y'all
something.
not
for
gonna
that.
let me live that one down, are you?
Just
No.
for the
Hey, I'm
record,
not
my
a
wife does
professional-
have smiting powers.
Same.
But
Wait.
no, we do this. I do this once a week on my channel. The ambassador and Mr. Meir are regular contributors.
Wonderful.
Samantha Joe and Stone Loki have graciously been guests on my channel. I've also had Captain Trek and several others on my channel as guests, and I hope to eventually have more. And I hope to have similar people like Captain Trek, Stone Loki, and Samantha Joe on Eris of Chaos. If you know Star Trek and you'd like to be on, Mando Mark, if you'd like to be on, you're welcome to be on. I mean, this is like I said, this is an open forum. This is all about having fun. It's not about agreeing. It's about
But it's
walking away like geeks. And even if we disagree, we still walk away being like, I understand. I may not
Yes.
agree with your point of view, but I can get your point of view. And that is what I believe geek culture truly is.
All
We
about
can
having
disagree.
a good time.
Bravo. I
Exactly.
agree.
And that was my. And I'm going to say something here. I'm going to go ahead and plug this because I haven't done it yet publicly, but I want to. I want to thank Mir. I want to thank the ambassador. I want to thank Samantha Joe, Stone Loki, Purple Eddie, Captain Trek, Anti-Trekker, and many others who have given much support to putting this channel together. And if it wasn't for you guys being in this panel, this show would not exist. If it wasn't for you guys in the chat, this show would not exist because guess what? I doubt very much because trust me, I tried it before. I don't want to hear my own self. I want people here to talk with. I want to have discussion. I want to have disagreement. And I want to thank you all for being a part of my channel. And yes, this is my channel. I agree. I'm the one who runs it. But you know what? If it wasn't for the fans and the people in this panel, this channel will not exist without any of you. So with that, I'm going to end the broadcast with peace and long life.
Live long and prosper.
Long and prosper all. Good night.